Hello everyone, this is Mr. Simple Majority again, and this is Buildcraft Tutorial 4. Now this tutorial is for Buildcraft 3, and will not work with 2.2. This tutorial we're going to cover advanced engines, we're going to cover logic gates, assembly tables, and advanced power distribution. So let's get started, shall we? So you already noticed while I was talking there, this really interesting engine setup. What we're going to be doing is using the engines to create electrical energy. And that energy is going to go on to be used in machines as well as the new assembler table. So to get started, let's talk about the pipe. This is a different kind of pipe we're going to make. It's called a conductive pipe. Now you can do wood instead of stone. You can do stone, wood, gold, and I believe this one here, stripes, is your iron. I'm not for sure on that. That's actually a new pipe that I just learned. So this pipe, I'll have to do some research and I'll put it in the description of what it actually does. But for now, gold and stone, gold, stone, and wood are the ones. And to simply do it, just take your pipe and attach a redstone to it. Now, you need wood to connect to the top of your engines. Normally your engines will connect directly to a machine, but now we're actually just going to put the pipe on it. And then you're going to need your gold. Gold is good for long distance travel, where stone is good for short. Because the pipes actually do have resistance and the energy will degrade over a distance. So gold is your better bet for long distance. I decided to go with this to make it stand out. So we'll go ahead and power up our engines. And after a second there, you can see that little white stream just pop in. It's faint right now, but as the engines warm up, it'll actually start to build in strength. And what that is doing is that's the actual energy current. There we go. So you can see it there, and it'll actually start to build in strength as it goes. Plus, just like your liquid pipes, these will eventually become full of energy. So, what is this used for? Well, we're going to make something called logic gates, but before we can do that, we need to make an assembler. An assembly table, excuse me. Let's turn the rain off. So, to make the assembly table, you're going to need 6 obsidian, a diamond gear, a diamond, and 1 redstone. Now, on its own, the assembly table will not work at all. It requires these guys. These are lasers. These lasers are what's going to actually do the crafting part. So, to make the lasers, you're going to need 2 more obsidian, 5 redstone, and finally 2 diamonds per laser. You can have as many lasers as you want. The more lasers you have, the more quicker the machine works. We'll go ahead and take that laser on with us and put it in. And simply place laser. You can put it against the wall, then dig out the wall. Since I'm doing the top one, I've already put the conductive pipes in. Each laser must have a conductive pipe connected to it and then connected to a source. As you can see, I did not hook this one up, so let's quickly connect that. So, there we go. So now the lasers are hooked up. How do we craft? What are we going to craft in this? Because this is a unique interface. So this one works a little differently in your normal interfaces. If you take the item and place it in, you're going to see an item on the other side. There we go. And right now we're going to make a redstone chipset with that. We'll just do 1. Now, if I take an iron and add it in, we're going to make a new item. So you see, it'll continually add items as you go. And we're going to talk about those in a little more detail. More information is that the assembly table needs to have a pipe connected to it, and then out to a treasure chest. That's because if you don't connect the pipe, it'll just start spewing items all over this chamber. So why don't we go ahead and get started by making items. We're going to start with the basics, these 4 chips. These 4 chipsets. First one's called the redstone chipset, and it's simply made with 1 redstone. The second chipset is called the iron chipset, which is made with a redstone plus an iron. We take out the redstone, you'll see it disappears. The third chipset is called the gold chipset. And finally we have the diamond chipset. Now, if we want to craft these, you want to always do your redstone chipsets last. But let's go ahead and start with the diamond. And we click on that, we get this little thing here, and you can see the lasers automatically start firing. But maybe I want to also do yellow too, or the gold. Notice that it's a darker line. So what it's saying is, after you finish this one, I want you to do this one. And if we do it again, it's just going to continue up. So this is first, that's going to be second, that's going to be third, and that's going to be fourth. The bar in the middle talks about how fast, describes the time remaining, or the progression of it. The longer these lasers run, the warmer they're going to get, just like the engines. The longer the engines run, the faster they go. The same holds true with lasers. And the colors of these lasers will actually change as well. Notice we're not getting anything in this top laser because I didn't build it high enough. Now, the lasers themselves cannot be placed any further than 2 blocks away from the assembly table, nor 2 blocks higher. That's why I had originally built this building like this. Other than that, the sky is pretty much the limit. And we can see now that our energy, because the engines are starting to warm up a little more, they're building up a little quicker. Now I want to prevent an explosion from occurring. So I'm going to actually go ahead and use those logic gates. And we're going to talk more about these in a minute. These guys are great. You can set these to different things, like I'm setting this to engine colors. And then I'm going to apply redstone to just blue and green, and then stop at yellow. And as soon as I remove that, you notice it's still running. Now, engines, even in creative mode, these logic gates are not permanent. So you actually do need to you'll need a lot of these, even in with creative on. There we go. We might go ahead and apply. Oops. We need to kill off the engine all the way. There we go. We need to take that on up to yellow. Now you get full control of these, and I like these OR gates for that purpose. Because now that engine's going to power, or would have until I broke the block. The engine will power based off of whatever the engine color is. And being an OR gate, it says if the engine's blue, then it's going to run. Now it can't run because there's not enough fuel to start, but as soon as there is, it's going to start running. And I'm just going to do this to all the engines while we wait for the chipsets. I do apologize, I should have done this before, but originally when I set the video up, I thought, I'll do this as I go. Or I won't even do this. But, being as we're going to be running this for a little while, I don't want these engines to burst. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and go through and power them all up, put the gates on them, and then as I said, I'll talk about them in more detail. Now, this here is the only reason I think that I really like the Buildcraft 3, is because I don't have to, with these gates, once you get them built up, I don't have to sit around here anymore and constantly babysit my engines. I don't worry about them exploding. I don't have to worry about them exploding, and I can even, if I needed to, I can destroy them and remove them, the whole thing, later if I wanted to. But, there's not even really a reason to with this. The only thing is shutting them down. Shutting engines off, at least combustion engines, I've seen is bugged, because you can't restart them, as you saw whenever I tried to restart the engine. So, just be aware of that. Make sure you have your engines where you want them. Be very careful when you're moving around them. And, there we go, one more. Make sure you have everything the way you want it, because once you power it up, you can't stop the engine. There we go. I don't know why this one never started. So we'll just go ahead and rebuild the whole thing. I do apologize for this. I wanted to have this, I should have done this in the beginning, and I thought, well, I don't want to confuse everybody and get everybody going, hey, wait a minute, why is that like that? There we go. Oh, I know why it's not working. What did I just say to myself? You must have a wood conductive pipe on top of the engine. There we go. Put that there. There we go. Now we should be able to start it. And hopefully we don't have to remove the engine again. There we go. And we do have to remove the engine. And now you see the engine is actually running. Now if we come over here and turn off the switch, the engines are going to continue to run because they're now being managed by logic gates instead of the actual engine. Now if we come back to our table and take a look at it, it's already done the redstone chip, or the first chip set, the diamond, and now it's working on the gold chipset. And we can see our diamond chipset in here. Now the next thing we're going to make, we'll go ahead and leave these in there and let them do their thing. The next basic item we need to make are these wires. To make these wires, you're going to need a redstone. You see there's the chip coming right out. We'll need the redstone. We'll need an iron. And then we're going to need one of 4 of these dyes in colors. Rose red, cacti green, dandelion yellow, and lapis lazuli. And that makes these wires. These wires will be used to craft more of the advanced gates as we go through the tutorial. So let's get to talking about the gates. What are they, how do they work, and how do I make, more importantly, how do I make them? So, to make the gates, the first gate, the redstone gate, or simply called gate, is just by taking a redstone chipset and placing it in the table. Now, if I try to do that with iron, you notice nothing shows up. That's because iron, gold, and diamond actually have 2 modes of types. As you saw me setting on the engines just a minute ago, we have the OR gate. So if we put an iron chipset in plus a red pipe wire, we get our choice between an AND or an OR gate. Now the difference between these two, this is basic logics, and I'm not going to go into great detail on this, but basic logic says this. On an AND gate, if event A and B are true, then do the actions, whatever the actions are, which in our cases will be emitting a redstone signal. So A and B must both be true for the event to happen, or for this to activate. An OR gate says if A or B is true, then proceed by emitting a redstone signal or not. So use these carefully and sparingly. Logic can be very tedious, and you only have the 2 to work with. So if we take out the red pipe wire, we'll put in our gold chipset, and I believe it was red and blue. There we go. Now we get the gold, and you saw me using the gold over here. The gold chipsets, you have the gold and the gold OR. And finally, if we put the diamond in, and we'll add the last 2 colored wires, we get the diamond gates. Diamond OR and diamond AND. Now, what do these gates do? I'm going to give you a brief view of these. Now, these do change based on whatever's connected. You saw with the engines, I had the engines connected, so it's looking at the engines. It adds the engines in. The first gate you're going to see is the actual gate, and we have different options. Item pipe empty, items transversing the pipe. And then we have an event, which is redstone signal or no redstone. So if items are transversing the pipe, we can emit a redstone signal. This could be nice if you have like a redstone or red power light from Red Power 2, and you have it flash on and off to let you know that items are moving through the pipe. The next kind of gate, now this is the OR gates and the AND gates. We have the AND gate here. So the pipe must be empty and we're going to need some items here to trigger it. So we'll put in a tank. We'll get a builder. So we'll put the tank here, and you can see some of the different options. So first, the option is the pipe must be empty, and then we're going to say that the tank needs to be empty. If both of these are true, and as you can see right now they're false, because the line is scraggly. Okay? Oh no, these are both true right now because the line is kind of faded out. If they're false, the line turns solid. See? Okay, so right now they're true. But there's no item traversing, so now this is false. So this gate will not work. Now the tanks, you have the tank empty, liquid in tank, space for liquid, or tank is full. And you could define these however you wish. So if the tank, let's say the tank has room for liquid, and there are no pipes transmitting through, or liquid, nothing transmitting through, then you emit a redstone signal, which could control, say, an iron switch or an iron pipe to redirect the flow to this tank. Now, the other option is the OR gate. And these are pretty much the same. The only thing that's going to change is going to be the size, the amount that you get. So the OR, we have our standard items. We have inventory, because this has an inventory. Items in inventory, if it has space in the inventory or if it's full. And we also have, is the machine scheduled to work? Is the work done? Instead of, they changed it. It used to say on or off. So now work scheduled. Is it on or is it off? And that's the iron OR gate. So this would say if the pipe is empty and the work is scheduled, or say inventory is empty, or space in inventory, then we're going to emit a redstone signal. So either there's space in the inventory or this pipe is empty, it's going to transmit a signal. Now you notice I can go back and forth. Left click goes forward, right click goes back. However, when you get to the very beginning, it'll always say pipe empty. So you have to actually go up a few, then you can go back a few, backwards. And if you accidentally go back, now you can go forward. Or if you get to the very end, then you have to start over. Gold gates, we saw these just a few minutes ago. This is the AND gate. And we can actually put in here items if we wanted to. We can actually put in, let's say, iron. So item, if the iron ignite is transferred into the pipe, we're going to emit a redstone signal. If diamond is transmitting through the pipe, we're going to emit a redstone signal. If the green pipe wire is transmitting through. And finally, we'll put a redstone chipset. So if these are true, then this gate will activate and emit a redstone signal out. And it doesn't have to be all of them because it is an AND gate. You can actually do the one. Because all four of these must be true for it to work. The OR gate, we saw that with the engines. Once again. And then the diamond gate. We have 8 inputs, which is great for sorting, using it for sorting and controlling engines. Even though you could control an engine and do some basic sorting with this. So that's gates. The basics of gates. But wait, there's more. All the engines are halted. Why? Because we are out of water. Ladies and gentlemen, we have run out of water. That's why. Not all the engines are out, but boy, a lot of them are. Let me just recharge these engines real quick with some water. Kinda stinks that your tutorial gets cut off because you ran out of water. There we go. This is from another tutorial. It's actually going to be another mod, which is probably going to be my next tutorial. It's called Forestry. And I like it a lot. It adds a lot of automation, and As you can see, it makes filling machines full of water a lot easier. There we go, and we'll just go over here and drop that bucket in there. There we go. So, there's more to this. It's not just making these chipsets and these gates. We can actually power machinery with this too. What? Really? And our machines are messed up. So yeah, we can connect our pipe. And you can see now the machine is running without, and it's running. This is running much faster than a cobblestone engine, or combustion engine could even think of running. I mean, it's not even done with the first one, it's moving on to the next one. So instead of carrying around a bunch of machines, now you can use your pipes, electrical energy, and transmit the energy through the pipes straight to the machinery. Now, I was told, or I read somewhere, that it is actually possible to run a quarry in the same manner. But I'm not for sure, so this is our bonus today for this video. And it is a short video. It's better than that 35-minute thing I just posted. But you remember I was talking about how angles are kind of lunky with this thing? And as you can see, this is how, with the path marker, this is how it decided to do the pathing for this tunnel. So it's not an exact science, but now I can finally show you. So what about a quarry? Can we hook that up? I don't know, but we're about to find out whether we can or cannot. So we'll just come to right about here. We'll use a standard quarry pattern. And then we're going to run our pipe to right here. We'll need a standard tube and a treasure chest of some sorts. And I think I'm probably going to want to use a personal safe from Buildcraft for this one. Something tells me that this is going to really drop some items if it works. There we go, stone transport, straight out. And then we'll get ourselves a personal safe as well. Let's see here, personal safe. You see why now that I use the crafting tables versus trying to find everything in NEI. That's because I have a large amount of mods installed, and my ID resolver has to make up for that by changing the item listing, so everything just goes way out of control. So mod integration, you can see that our pipe does connect to the personal safe from Buildcraft Square, and we'll just connect that and we'll see if we actually get power into it. First off, we'll disconnect that and let's see what happens. And sure enough, looky there. Oh yeah, that's gonna kill. That would, if this was an actual world, this thing here would kill everything. Look at that thing. It's already, the drill's ready to go. Now we're going to see how fast it actually transmits our items out. Now it is slowing down a little bit, it seems. Maybe that's just my imagination. We see our engines are all running. Well, we lost another couple engines here. I don't know why. Right now it's on blue status. I don't know why it's not. It's got plenty of fuel and all that. Let's just go back and look at this. Oh yeah, look how fast that thing's going. Let's see how you're 13. So as you can see, your quarry runs a lot faster. Remember in the last tutorial we used 2 combustion engines, and you had this whole setup of fuel tanks and pipes running all over the place. Now it's just simple 1. And we can also put a logic gate on this too. We could put we'll use, actually, we'll use a standard gate. So the standard gate will go here, and it's going to look to see if the machine is done. And if it's done, it's going to emit a redstone signal. Then we can take a light block. We'll put a yellow lamp in. We'll just put that right there. Yeah, we'll put it right on top of it. Oh. Well, we'll put it right there because you can't, shift click doesn't work with it. So you can tell I am still kind of learning about some of the complete functions with this, and that's why I'm keeping logics to a simple. Just the fact that I can go on with logics for over an hour. Look at that thing go. That's just beautiful. Wow. I know what I'm doing in my world. Oh yeah, I know how my quarry's gonna work. That's for sure. As soon as I get it all up and running, that's for sure. That's just beautiful. You look here at that bridge, in the short time, it's done. Done and done. The only downside is this, and I guess the only thing you could do here is to simply come in and just make the alterations yourself. And you see, we're already at bedrock in a short amount of time. This would have been double the time had it been with the using the whatchamacallit, the combustion engines only. That's phenomenal. That puts a smile on my face. So as I said, I don't understand what the functions of strike pipes are and what those things do. I could put one in real quick and we can see exactly what it does. And it does nothing. So this is not for electrical energy at all. Maybe possibly it is a standard piping item. It sure is. And this is why we don't put pipes in. There we go. So you can see, in the short amount of time we've been talking, the quarry is now finished. It is dug all the way bedrock. And now it's over. We can actually see that because now the light's on telling us it is done. If we take out the block and take out the quarry itself, now we can start removing our frame safely. And I didn't mention this in the last tutorial, which I'm going to include in the description when I uploaded it, that you cannot remove quarries until the quarry is done. Either you remove the quarry yourself or it's hit bedrock. If you try to, what will happen is it'll crash your game and it will be unrecoverable. So don't remove quarries unless you're finished. That's it for this tutorial. I know it was short and sweet to the point, but hey, it was worth it. You can see over here our engines. We got engines that are now actually holding because they're at yellow status. Into the yellow and red status. And they're actually going to hold there until they cool down. Here's some over here. Sorry, they're actually probably out of water again. Let's look. Yep, we're out of water. There we go. So these engines will actually hold until they start turning red. When they turn red, then this will turn off, and this is a way of controlling the circuit. Of course, we can override it by flipping the switch on if you wanted to take it on up to the reds. So anyway, that's it for this tutorial. It was short and sweet to the point. There's not a lot to talk about in this tutorial, but I did want to show you guys the advanced stuff that Buildcraft 3 offers. And of course, as you are aware, Buildcraft 3 is single player only for now. I'm hoping with 1.3 around the corner that they will actually take Buildcraft 3 and put it as an SMP mod. This would be amazing to have on a multiplayer server. Absolutely amazing. And this is the only reason I play single player, is because I cannot use Buildcraft 3 on a server. And I don't want to have two sets of mods to run. Anyway, this is Simple Majority. I hope you enjoyed the series. The next series I'm going to do is Forestry. I actually have I wanted to speak with Alblaka and Elram about doing Red Power 2 and IC2. I know Direwolf has kind of got that market cornered, but sometimes his tutorials are hard to understand, and sometimes he goes a little too fast for me. So I would like to see if I can get permission to do those two mods as well. Also, I'm planning to do an Aether mod, an Aether revisit as well. Aether is back. It has returned. It's 1.9 pre-release 2. They're also working on Aether 2.0, which is going to be a complete rewrite, I guess, of the mod. And I'm really excited to see that. I actually enjoyed Aether, but at the time it was either Aether or Forge, and I had to choose Forge. Now Aether's merged with Forge, and I can prove that. I mean, right here, this is my world. I don't know why some people I've talked to, they don't believe that it's been merged. And it sure has. So, I'm really excited about it. It's a little laggy, but I think it's just because they haven't worked on it so long, and things have kind of changed around a bit, that they're having, that's why they're doing mod the 2.0 version. There we go. They're doing a 2.0 version because it has changed quite a bit. There was a lot of new systems, plus the Forge integration really takes the game to a whole new level. Oh really? My portal appeared in a boss chamber, in a bronze boss chamber. How epic is that? Wow. Well, I know one boss I wouldn't fight if this were my world. That's amazing. It's just as nasty as it was before, but there are some new items that has been introduced with this version. You can now take Holy Stone, turn it into blocks. There's health block. You can also merge them, make them into health stones. As you see, it is still a little bit laggy. Takes a little bit for it to load up, but it is pre-release, and they're playing catch up. We're talking the last time they released was 1.0. That was several releases back. So we'll see how they do with it, and I'm very excited to see it back. And just can't wait to actually get up here legitimately. I haven't even been here in my main world yet. I've been busy with my forestry and getting my farms up and running. I traditionally don't play with monsters turned on in the very beginning of a game, so I can build up, not necessarily completely build up, but build up enough that I have a nice home, and I'm building some farms and running some crops to take care of myself. So anyway, this is Mr. Simple Majority signing off, this time for real, signing off. We're done. And keep tuned, I'm going to be starting the forestry tutorials probably this next week. So, stay tuned. This is Mr. Simple Majority signing off.